I have always enjoyed making my cities feel more alive. The way that's done is through beautification for me. For many, it could be different. It could just be making blocked homes and all that good stuff. But for me, I really like putting down a whole bunch of ornaments. And now I'm going to be honoring a promise to Rantian Devyn. We're doing an entire Beautification 101 episode. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Anno 1800 Beginner's Guide series. Just want to start off by mentioning thank you to every single one of you who are tuning into these and have been telling me how these guide episodes have been helping you in your gameplay. It's really important that I know and how I can become better as a creator, because that's really important. Constant growth is better than not knowing and falling into stagnation. Stagnation, terrible. So, I want to make an honor a promise, to Rantian Devyn, of whom asked me if we could do a little bit of beautification. How can we go ahead and do and begin such an undertaking? What are the ways that you go about it? Well, I like to pull on real life examples whenever I'm actually doing beautification work. For example, in the expert campaign, I made the city of Constantinople. How did that really come to pass? Well, anybody can just go ahead and write Constantinople as the city name, but no, mine actually has a Anno 1800 version of the Theodosian Walls. If you'd like to check it out, there actually is a short as well, one of my very first ones, as well as multiple different parts to the reconstruction efforts of Constantinople if we want to take a look, see. But for the sake of the guide episode, I want to work, and I already went ahead and built a small palace district over here on the little island that we had first our schnapps and our later the red peppers. And I want to just beautify this location, okay? So the palace itself is a very beautiful island. I do also want to touch on one additional thing, going based off of what Rantian Vladimir actually wrote in the comment section of the previous episode. So we'll get to that one as well going into this one just for a moment. But if you want to do beautification work, it is located right here with this little tree icon which says beautification menu. And you have a whole bunch of classics, right? You have a temperate forest, which essentially what this one is, there's like, you have the mixed trees, you have cypress trees, deciduous trees, fir, cherry orchards, cherry wood, and turpentine. The last three are for old world orchards, which we haven't talked about quite yet, but there's a little cheese tactic when it comes to these ones, which I will go over. The first ones are really good. Like, let's say for all intents and purposes, you, I don't know, you're over here, there's like nothing in this spawn, you want to build a lumberjack hut, and you see it says 40, right? You can always go over to the beautification menu, go over to temperate forest, and I think this one has like a mixture of trees. Instead of waiting for them to like plant all these, you can click and drag this around, and it actually helps them. It plants the trees for them. So that's one little nifty trick of that. Modest parks are pretty much paying homage to like the farmer type feel, right? So we have our wells, we have apple trees, we have mature trees and shrubbery and grass. If you ever want to change the shade of the grass, you can always put it down, click on it, and then press Shift G, and it will change it to the darker shade. And then from here, you can actually click and drag, and it would be the darker shade of grass going forward right over here. I'm not certain what the console command is on like actual consoles with the handheld controllers. I must be honest, I haven't played with a controller much, if at all, in years, and I'm really bad at it, so I will more than likely have to check to see how that's changed over there. I want to assume you would just click on it, put it down here, and then there would be like a little arrow or something over here that says you can shift or you can change the color from the normal shade to the darker shade. Quaint parks, kind of similar, having a little bit more of the farmer aspect. You have Temperate Grove. Temperate Grove is one that I typically like to use a lot because it kind of just is a mixture of trees and grass going through. And again, you can always change the shade. If it has these little icons at the bottom, a little circle of darker and lighter shade green, that means you can change the color of them. Pleasant parks are always nice. You know, you have your fountains, your gardens, your gazebos, some hedge walls, esplanades, you're having some paving, some newspaper stands, and the little statue. This one's kind of like a hybrid. You have the equestrian statues and memorial gardens that do have a grass texture to them. whilst the fences don't really. It's more like a pathway. Elaborate parks, which are completely based off of paving, and then you have luxurious, which these ones are again with grass. If you have gotten anything from the Grand Gallery, they would show up over here, which I fun fact, I just went ahead and tried it for once to see how it would look, and this obelisk is a literal baby. I absolutely, that's why I've been just holding on to it since, I don't know, the very beginning of the expert campaign, honestly. If you do have different DLCs and seasons, they would show up here in the seasons tab, and you'll find a whole bunch of beautification options just running through. They recently added more banners because I'm pretty certain there's somebody at Ubisoft that's paying attention to me now, or the Anno 1800 development team, because I love banners. Okay, I absolutely adore banners. They're probably my favorite ornament in the game, hence why I put it down over here, and why I will convert everybody into bannerholics. Just give me time, it'll happen. But you can go ahead and do a lot of stuff with all of these, right? So like we have this one for tourist season that's locked off because we actually do need a tourist mooring in order to activate these ones. The High Life over here for now only has the lamppost and the banner, but later on comes with really cool ornaments such as a really awesome fountain and a hot air balloon, which constantly goes up and down. Seas of Change going to the Haciendas, the Empire of the Skies being that one for airships that we haven't really covered apart from the benefits of this airship over that airship and showcasing it, and then New World Rising, which we haven't unlocked fully yet because we haven't reached Artisas and colonized fully the island of Manola, which is the big boy over there. Cosmetic packs are also kind of similar to the seasons, but you have to individually purchase these ones. You have like the amusement park pack, the city lights, and pedestrian. Personally, I think these two could have been the same pack, but they've split them up. Industrial zone pack can work very well when it comes to like the Bright Harvest pack, which again, Bright Harvest you'll see probably the best one in the game, with having all these ornaments to it. And you can really couple them with this one. This one's really more along the lines of the train aspect and more construction-based areas. Old Town having like a castle type feel, which is fantastic. I really like using the archways with the city wall opens instead of the covereds. Fiesta Pack for New World. National Park is always nice. Eldridge makes it look dark and decrepit, kind of like if you're in Sylvania, if you're a Warhammer fan. Steampunk was an absolute disappointment. Probably get this one last. The pirate one, a little bit better than steampunk, but I mean, it really depends. Like, it does have a cool building like this, but that's really all it is, right? And then End of an Era is their last cosmetic pack, which is really nice. I do like elements of this, but let's just go ahead and start with trying to beautify a little bit of the palace so we don't dilly-dally completely. So first and foremost, you are here, you know this, you're building banners. You're putting them down, okay? I don't want any other contestation to that one. You're doing it, okay? But look, we have some room in between over here. So what you can do is you can just play around with it. See what would work in here, right? You can potentially put in the tall boxwoods, maybe. Do we want it to be a little bit more on the regal side? We can put some memorial statues. We can put two right next to each other. That's not bad. Alternatively, you can always just put paving right in front of it as well. Not a big deal. But something I kind of like to do is, you see these guys that are walking along the side of the palace right now? I always like to make some sort of walkway for my NPCs, right? And there are ways to make walkways. So like over here in the pedestrian zone, there are ground planes, which if you don't have this one, then you can always go over to the seat of power, because at this point you do have this thing and you can have the promenade street. So let's actually utilize the promenade right now. And we can just drag this alongside the exterior of the palace itself. And we'll bring it over to like right here. And as you can see, the NPCs start to walk on it. And it makes it look really nice. Makes it look real, right? Let's do the same with the other side. This side might be a little bit different because we can't actually build on this little tile over here, and it sucks, but it's whatever. But we can always continue going down over here. And we'll take it to like this spot right over here. And you can always change the style of the walkway. So if you don't want to have, let's say, all of these little seating areas, you can always just change it to the regular. So we can change this one to a regular. We'll keep that one. We may not want to have all this seating over here, so we'll get rid of this one. This seems to be an even distribution over here. This one would not be. So like we can go over here, swap that over to 6, change that. That one kind of looks okay to me. This side looking rather empty. We'll put some seating over here and some seating over here. Really, one way to go about this is try to envision yourself walking. And if you want to actually do that, the console command to actually go into first person view is Control-Shift-R. And it'll bring you down to a first person POV. And then you can start walking around here, and you can hold shift as you hold down the W key in order to run a little bit faster along these pathways, right? So look at it and see, like, okay, is this something that you actually do enjoy walking on? Yeah, sure, why not? You can definitely work on it a little bit more. And we should definitely do that because we want to get into here, right? So let's continue the promenade street, and we'll bring it straight forward and link these two sides up. So now we have both sides of these palace gates actually connected on the inside. And we have open areas over here. So we can do a couple of things. The first one is the iris girdle fountain, just eyeballing it, will actually fit in this spot. We can choose to put it here, or we can choose to put it here. I like this spot, so we'll put it right over here. And we can choose to mirror it on this side. There's also another alternative. If you want to go over here to the luxurious park, you can put a gazebo plaza in here. Just note that this is more on the grassy end, as we mentioned earlier. So if you don't like this contrast, by all means, get rid of this. Go back over here to Seat of Power and get yourself another iris girdle fountain. Okay? And then there's an open spot in between these two locations. We don't want to spam the promenade street because then it turns into something like that. Okay? We don't like that. What we want to do is make it feel better. So what we can do is we can either utilize paving to completely drag it all the way over here to give it that open feeling. Or what we can do is we can do something like this. We can put like maybe an entrance for the hedge over here and an entrance for the hedge over here. And we can drag the hedge barrier along here, and we have a nice little hedged fence, as it were, in between the palace main building leading to this promenade. And heck, if you want to do the exact same thing on the other side, if that's the plan, all you can do is go over here to the copy mode, take this and copy it and put it right on the other, smack dab on the other side, and it's going to look very even, right? So those are just little tips and tricks when you're playing around with beautification work. And if you notice that you're planning on building over on this side and you want to maintain the promenade walkway, as it were, you can even put like a little extension. Like, this is my intention. I'm planning on working on this side, right? This is the only area that irks me right now. I can't do much about it, so I guess I will just leave it as is. But on these corners, we can do some cool stuff. So let's say we want to put a newspaper stand over here. We'll put it like right here, and it really depends. You can always just decide where you want it to go. The kid's going to always come out through the back, so the guy who's in the stand is always going to be over here, right? So we can put this facing that direction. And if you want, based off of where it is, you can go over to the classic and you can go to like a modest park, and we can build like 2 trees around it. And that in and of itself is enhancing our attractiveness. Because remember, every time you put down a ornament of any kind, it is actually working to enhance the overall appeal of your city. And it's done through the culture, which it tells you right here through the ornaments. All these that we have placed down are ornaments. So right now, it's contributing to 14 attractiveness for Roma right now. There are also other little cool ideas you can do. Like, we have a little open section over here. If this works, I'm going to be very, very happy and pleased. I don't know where it went. It's right over here. We could have put a gazebo plaza over here, but it's not going to work. We're not planning on building out here. So we can potentially go ahead and see where this gazebo plaza would fit the best. And it looks like right out here is not too bad. We can also have another newspaper stand be out here too, because it seems like it's going to be a happening area. And we can put some of these benches around on the exterior, right? And you can always change their design as well. So like, you can always get like a covered one. And let's say we want all 3 of these ones to be covered with a little umbrella like that. And we do also have like a fountain, for example, we can put out here. It really depends, you know, and just for the hell of it, I want to change all these ones to the darker shade. So we'll just do that. Again, that console command is Shift G, and we'll do this, right? Around it, we want to either put grass or temperate growth. I think there's probably a nice little way of going about it. So let's try with some temperate growth. Do Shift G, and then I'll copy this, and then it'll automatically populate, right? So now we're getting a whole bunch of trees over here, and they're matching the same shade as the ground. It only becomes a problem with moments like these, which you can always change the little one in the front. So now this is what it's looking right over here. The problem with this is that you will have little moments in which it's very stagnant and blocky, kind of like this, but that is the tile that's working against you. I think they added grass with something else recently that actually changes out, this whole curve. It makes it curved, whatnot. But I just have to find it. I haven't used it much. I mostly kind of default to these ones. But this is really the way to get beautification going. And right now, we took a palace that literally had nothing in front of it and really enhanced it just with these little changes. We made a promenade in front. We added some banners, which are more important. We added some of the memorial statues. We have room for expansion going over here. Let's see, do we actually have a little bit more? You know what? Let's, for the hell of it, try to upgrade some of these engineer homes so we can get some more people. We ultimately want to get to have more of our investors. So right now we're at the city level of metropolis when you get a decent amount of them up. And let's get these artisans up as well. We don't need all these workers. Boom. Okay, so with that, we got 2 additional palace wings. So we can go over here and we can extend this side. Put 1 palace wing over here and another palace wing over here. So now we'll know we're working in this direction, so we can continue building the promenade over here. And you can already begin to pre-plan what your ideas are in this section. This is not to say that you cannot also do the same in your cities as well. As you notice, we did something around the town hall or the variety theater over here, but let's quickly try to do something with the town hall. So a whole bunch of special ones were added to the game as well. These are additional ornaments. You can find, like, if you're doing the scenarios, you can get these ones. These ones are from Eden Burning. It really depends on which ones you're working for, really. If you try the scenarios, I would definitely recommend not doing them while you're a beginner player. They are not forgiving at all. But let's try and use these. So I have some bronze lions. I'm going to put 2 in the front right over here. And then I need to figure out what I can put in the back here. That's going to be a 2 tile width. So let's head over to the seasons pack. We can again try with the Seed of Power DLC one. We can put a tall boxwood, like maybe right here in the middle on both sides. And based off of the importance of this building, we can put our banners along the side. And boom, it's already beautified. Perfect for you. Right? Little bits and pieces like these go a long way. And, even when you're getting to a point of having a settlement, like right now at a metropolis level, this is what you really want to work on. This is your capital. You wanted to make it look pretty alive. These people are now using the promenade walkway to get into the palace grounds. That is what we want to see. That is what you want to see. I know this is definitely out of, the ordinary. This is nothing actually relating to game mechanics, right? And I also have not forgotten about Rantian Vladimir's suggestion. We will talk about that in the next episode. I was thinking about that during this one when we talk more about finances. So with beautification, it's really what you feel will be the best. Play around with it. This is something that you will perfect because it's definitely not anything you have to stress about. It is literally how many of these can I put down to make it look pretty. If you ever been to Buckingham Palace in the UK, use that as a base example. That is pretty much a good way to start. So, Until next time, my friends, thank you so much. Hopefully, you guys enjoy Beautification 101. If you want more advanced suggestions and ideas, please let me know. I can always do a part 2 to that. It'll be Beautification 102. But definitely, there's a whole bunch to play with. There are also really cool ones, probably as far as the mods are concerned. So you can always go ahead and explore those as well on the mod browser in the main page when you load up the game. So until next time, my friends, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider like, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell button, sharing it with your friends. Let me know if you guys do some beautification work. Join the Discord and show me. I always love seeing your work. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day, my Rantians.